Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling calm, no matter what chaos surrounds you. Picture yourself moving through your day, not tossed about by every frustration, fear, or anger, but steady, composed, in control. Now, what if I told you this isn't just some distant dream or a state reserved for monks atop mountains? What if mastering your emotional responses is something you can begin practicing today, right now? You don't have to be overwhelmed by your feelings, nor controlled by impulses that later bring regret. The key to this kind of mastery has been understood for thousands of years by a philosophy called Stoicism. It's a timeless guide, not about suppressing emotion or becoming cold, but about learning how to live with emotional clarity and resilience. You might wonder why your emotions sometimes feel like wild horses pulling you in every direction. Why a small inconvenience can spark disproportionate anger or anxiety, or how a single comment can crush your mood for hours. It's because emotions, when unexamined, often govern us instead of serving us. But what if you could see them clearly, understand their roots, and choose your response rather than react unconsciously? This is the essence of emotional mastery from a Stoic perspective. Recognizing what's truly yours to control, your judgments and actions, and accepting what isn't. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus teaches us that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we interpret and respond to them. In this video, I want to walk you through 10 powerful daily practices rooted in Stoic philosophy that will help you master your emotional responses. These are practical habits you can start cultivating immediately, habits that don't require years of meditation or special training. Instead, they rely on simple, consistent actions that strengthen your mind and spirit to face life's inevitable challenges with calmness and grace. Imagine being able to pause before anger flares, to meet fear with reason, and to embrace discomfort as a path to growth. These are not just lofty ideals. They are skills, and like any skill, they improve with practice. The journey isn't about eradicating emotion. Emotion is part of our nature, but about transforming your relationship with it. When you understand your emotions as signals, not commands, you reclaim your freedom. You stop being a slave to every fleeting feeling and become the master of your inner world. This freedom is the foundation of a fulfilled, peaceful life. It's what makes the difference between reacting wildly to life's storms and sailing smoothly through them. So whether you're struggling with daily stress, anxious thoughts, or just want to live more thoughtfully and intentionally, these 10 daily Stoic practices will offer you a roadmap. By the end of this video, you'll have clear, actionable steps to start mastering your emotions and, ultimately, yourself. The path of Stoicism is a path of empowerment, where wisdom, virtue, and resilience guide your every step. Are you ready to begin this journey toward emotional mastery? Let's dive into the first practice and start building the foundation of a calmer, stronger you. Before you even get out of bed, your mind begins shaping the day ahead. What if the very first moments of your morning could set the tone not just for your mood, but for your entire emotional resilience? Imagine greeting the day with a clear sense of purpose, mentally prepared to face whatever challenges come your way, without being tossed around by every little frustration or unexpected event. This is the power of a morning reflection. A simple yet profound Stoic practice that lets you take control before the world pulls you in every direction. The Stoics called this practice premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of adversity. It's about deliberately imagining the obstacles, difficulties, or setbacks that might arise during your day, not to scare yourself or to dwell in negativity, but to prepare your mind. Think of it like an emotional rehearsal. When you visualize potential hardships or annoyances, you create a kind of mental immunity. You remind yourself that these things are part of life and that your power lies in how you respond, not in avoiding or wishing them away. Try this tomorrow morning. Before you rush to check your phone or start the day's busy routine, spend a few minutes calmly imagining what might go wrong. Maybe you'll face criticism at work, a traffic jam, or a tense conversation. Picture it clearly. Then remind yourself that these events are outside your control, but your reaction is not. Visualize yourself remaining calm, measured, and steady, even in those moments. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings, but that you acknowledge what could happen without letting fear or frustration take hold. By doing this, you train your mind to expect adversity and to greet it with readiness. You reduce the shock when things don't go as planned, and instead of reacting impulsively, you can respond with wisdom. This morning reflection anchors you in reality. It grounds you in what truly matters, your own judgment and choices. A practical way to do this is to keep a small journal or even just think quietly for 5 minutes. Ask yourself, what difficulties might I face today? How will I meet them? This simple habit transforms your mindset. Instead of being caught off guard, you move through the day with intention and calm. The day no longer controls your emotions, you do. This practice is not about pessimism or expecting the worst, but about embracing reality as it is. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable and often challenging, but we don't have to be victims of circumstance. We can choose how to meet the world, prepared rather than reactive. Over time, this morning reflection builds resilience, making your emotional responses more measured and less volatile. Now that you've set the stage with your morning reflection, let's move to the next practice, mindful observation of your emotions. It might sound strange to step back and watch your feelings instead of getting swept away by them, but this is a cornerstone of Stoic emotional mastery. Imagine being able to notice anger rising within you, but not immediately exploding or acting out. Picture yourself recognizing fear or sadness as they appear, but not letting them dictate your actions. This practice is about becoming the observer of your inner world. The Stoics believed that there is a part of us, the rational mind, that can step outside the flood of emotions and see them clearly, without judgment. When you cultivate this observer stance, you gain distance from the often overwhelming power of your feelings. Instead of being consumed by emotional waves, you become the calm sea beneath them. During your day, try to pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What thoughts are fueling this emotion? Notice the sensation without rushing to change it or push it away. Simply observe, please. This moment of awareness creates a space between stimulus and response, a space where choice exists. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic and your first impulse is anger, pause and observe that feeling. Name it silently. I feel anger. Then ask, is this anger helpful right now? What judgment or expectation caused it? By doing this, you start to break the automatic chain reaction that emotions often trigger. This mindful observation doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring emotions. It means recognizing them as natural, transient experiences rather than truths you must obey. It's like watching clouds pass across the sky. You notice them, you acknowledge their presence, but you don't chase after them or get lost inside them. This practice strengthens your rational mind, the part that the Stoics valued most. It helps you realize that you are not your emotions, but the one who perceives them. This shift in perspective is powerful because it gives you control. You're no longer at the mercy of sudden emotional surges, but can decide how to act. Start small. Set gentle reminders throughout your day to check in with yourself. Maybe every hour ask, what am I feeling? Or, what thoughts are influencing my mood? Over time, this builds a habit of self-awareness that calms emotional turbulence and helps you respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. By observing your emotions mindfully, you cultivate inner freedom. You stop being controlled by fleeting feelings and instead become the steady captain of your ship, navigating life with clarity and grace. This is the true beginning of emotional mastery. the ability to see clearly and choose wisely in every moment. One of the most profound lessons from Stoicism is the clear and unwavering distinction between what is within our control and what is not. It sounds simple, but its impact on how we handle emotions is revolutionary. Think about the last time you felt frustrated or anxious. How often were those feelings tied to things you couldn't actually change? The weather, other people's opinions, unexpected events, these are all outside your power. But your thoughts, judgments, and actions, those are yours, always. This idea, known as the dichotomy of control, is at the heart of mastering your emotional responses. When you deeply grasp this, you begin to stop wasting precious energy on things beyond your influence. Imagine how liberating it is to release the urge to control everything and instead focus your efforts where they truly matter, on your own responses. To practice this daily, start by asking yourself a simple question whenever you feel emotional tension rising. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, then the Stoics urge you to accept it calmly. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or passivity. It means acknowledging reality without unnecessary suffering. You might not be able to change the traffic jam or the rude comment, but you can choose not to let those things steal your peace. When faced with difficult people or situations, remind yourself, I can't control their actions, but I can control my judgment about them. This mental shift is powerful because it reclaims your agency. Instead of being a victim of circumstances, you become an active participant in your emotional life. Here's a practical exercise. Throughout your day, take mental notes of moments when you get upset or stressed. Ask, is this something I can influence? If yes, think about what steps you can take. If not, practice letting it go. This simple habit rewires your mind to prioritize your energy wisely. This principle also helps with fear. Many fears are about things beyond control, the future, other people's reactions, or random events. When you remind yourself that these are outside your power, the fear loses much of its grip. You start focusing on what you can do, prepare, act with integrity, and maintain your values. Remember, emotional turmoil often comes from confusing what you care about with what you can control. You may care deeply about your reputation or a relationship, but the actions of others aren't yours to command. By separating your desires and attachments from your control, you reduce suffering and increase your calm. The Stoics teach that peace comes not from changing the world, but from changing your relationship to it. Your emotional mastery blossoms when you invest in what you can shape, your thoughts and choices, and release the rest. This practice is not about detachment or indifference. It's about focused engagement with reality. When you do this consistently, your emotional reactions become measured, purposeful, and grounded. Now, with this foundation in mind, let's explore how you can transform negative emotions into opportunities for reason and growth through reframing. When an intense emotion like anger, fear, or sadness arises, your natural impulse might be to react immediately or let the feeling overwhelm you. The Stoics offer a different way, a practice of cognitive reframing, where you examine the emotion through the lens of reason and shift your perspective to a more constructive one. Imagine anger rising because someone has wronged you. Instead of letting that anger consume you, Stoicism asks you to pause and ask, what judgment lies beneath this anger? What belief am I holding that fuels it? Often, anger comes from expecting others to behave as you wish, or from feeling that something unfair has happened. Recognizing these judgments allows you to question them. Ask yourself, is this situation truly harmful, or is it merely challenging my expectations? Can I find a way to respond with patience or understanding? Reframing transforms anger from a destructive fire into a signal that you need to examine your own assumptions. Similarly, fear often stems from imagining worst-case scenarios that may never happen. By analyzing the facts calmly, you reduce the power of fear. The Stoics suggest focusing on what is rational and within your control instead of being dragged into catastrophic thinking. Sadness or grief can also be reframed. Instead of clinging to loss or longing, consider the impermanence of all things, a core Stoic teaching. By accepting that change and loss are natural, you can find peace amid sorrow. This mental shift is not denial, but empowerment. It's about turning emotional energy into thoughtful action or calm acceptance. It allows you to break free from being a passive victim of feelings and become an active participant in shaping your inner state. To make this a daily habit, whenever you notice a strong negative emotion, take a moment to identify the underlying belief or judgment. Write it down if you can. Then challenge it. Is this true? Is this helpful? How else can I view this situation? Over time, this practice rewires your brain to respond with reason instead of impulsive emotion. You build a mindset that welcomes challenges as chances to exercise wisdom rather than sources of suffering. Reframing isn't about suppressing feelings or pretending everything is fine. It's about seeing emotions as guides, not masters. When done well, it leads to emotional resilience, clarity, and a steady mind in the face of life's storms. These two practices, the clear distinction of control and the reframing of negative emotions, work together to transform your relationship with your feelings. They empower you to meet life with a calm mind and a courageous heart. Next, we will explore how the Stoics used visualization as a tool to prepare themselves for emotional challenges, further strengthening your ability to remain unshaken. Visualization might sound like something only athletes or performers do, but for the Stoics, it was a crucial daily tool to build emotional strength and resilience. Imagine this. Before stepping into the challenges of the day, you take a moment to mentally rehearse difficult situations. You imagine possible obstacles, conflicts, or disappointments, and more importantly, you see yourself responding with calm, wisdom, and grace. This mental exercise isn't about worrying or creating negativity. It's about training your mind to remain steady when faced with adversity. By visualizing these moments, you inoculate yourself against shock and surprise. When real challenges arise, they feel less overwhelming because your mind has already practiced how to handle them. It's like preparing for a storm before it hits. You build shelter in advance, rather than scrambling to find cover when the rain begins. Try this tomorrow morning or the night before. Find a quiet moment and picture a situation that usually triggers a strong emotional reaction for you. It could be a difficult conversation, a stressful work deadline, or even a minor annoyance that you often let upset you. See the scenario in as much detail as possible. Then imagine yourself meeting it with composure. Visualize yourself breathing steadily, thinking clearly, and choosing your actions with intention instead of impulse. This practice not only calms your mind, but rewires your emotional responses. You begin to build a muscle of equanimity, the ability to stay balanced no matter what is happening around you. It prepares you to face life's difficulties with courage, turning potential emotional chaos into calm. The Stoics believed that what we frequently imagine shapes our character. By repeatedly visualizing yourself as a calm, resilient person, you start embodying that version of yourself. It's not wishful thinking, it's practical mental training grounded in reality. If you make this visualization a daily habit, you'll notice a profound change in how you approach challenges. Situations that once made your heart race with anxiety or flare with anger will become manageable. You'll find a quiet strength growing within you, one that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but on your inner preparation. Remember, life will throw hardships your way, that is certain, but you get to decide how prepared you are to meet them. Visualization is your mental armor, your rehearsal for the battles of the day. Now imagine pairing this preparedness with a deep sense of gratitude. That brings us to the next practice, which is all about appreciating the present moment and what you already have. Gratitude might seem like a simple or even sentimental idea, but from a Stoic perspective, it's a powerful practice that grounds your emotions in reality and prevents unnecessary suffering. When you cultivate gratitude, you shift your focus from what's missing or what's going wrong to what is present and good in your life. This shift is a potent antidote to negative emotions like envy, resentment, or despair. The Stoics taught that much of our unhappiness comes from desire and attachment to things outside our control. We want more, better, or different, and this endless craving unsettles our minds. Gratitude pulls us back to the present, reminding us that even in difficult times there is something to appreciate. Try starting or ending your day by listing 3 things you are grateful for. These can be as simple as the breath in your lungs, the roof over your head, or a kind word from a friend. The key is to feel the appreciation deeply, not just say the words mechanically. This practice rewires your brain to notice abundance rather than lack. Over time, you'll find that you're less prone to emotional swings because your foundation is gratitude. You develop a resilience that comes from recognizing the value in what you already have, instead of constantly chasing what you don't. Gratitude also fosters humility. It reminds you that life is a gift, not an entitlement. When you live with this awareness, emotions like pride, anger, or jealousy lose their power. Instead, you approach each day with a sense of wonder and acceptance. In moments of hardship, gratitude becomes even more important. It's not about pretending everything is perfect, but about finding small lights in the darkness. This attitude keeps your spirit steady and hopeful, no matter the external chaos. Imagine how different your emotional landscape would be if you trained your mind daily to find these points of gratitude. Challenges would still come, but your response would be rooted in appreciation and calm, rather than frustration or despair. Gratitude is not just a feel-good exercise, it's a Stoic strategy for emotional mastery. It shifts your inner world in a way that strengthens your peace and joy. Next, we'll talk about one of the most practical and impactful Stoic lessons: learning to respond instead of reacting. This distinction is where true emotional mastery begins. There is a world of difference between reacting and responding, and mastering this difference is central to controlling your emotional life. Reacting is that sudden, often impulsive surge of feeling that sweeps over you, a flash of anger, fear, or frustration that pushes you to act without thinking. Responding, on the other hand, is deliberate, calm, and thoughtful. It is the space you create between an external event and your internal choice. The Stoics taught us to cultivate this space, to build patience and reason as a shield against impulsive reactions. Imagine being in a heated conversation and feeling the familiar rush of irritation building up. Instead of immediately snapping or shutting down, you take a breath, pause, and ask yourself, how do I want to act here? What outcome do I want to create? This pause is the secret weapon. It's a tiny moment, often just a breath or two, but it transforms the entire interaction. In that brief space, your rational mind reasserts control, and you choose your words and actions aligned with your values instead of the raw surge of emotion. To build this skill, start practicing simple techniques throughout your day. When something triggers a strong feeling, stop for a moment, breathe deeply, observe your body's sensations, the quickened heartbeat, the tension in your shoulders. Acknowledge the emotion without judgment, then ask yourself, what's the best way to respond here? This habit rewires your brain to create that essential pause automatically. You become less reactive, less controlled by momentary impulses, and more aligned with your higher self, the part of you that acts with wisdom, courage, and justice. Remember, this doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending you're unaffected. It means respecting your feelings but not letting them dictate your behavior. You honor the emotion as information, then choose your response consciously. Imagine how much energy and peace you could gain by stopping the cycle of reactive outbursts. Relationships improve, stress diminishes, and your inner calm grows. you create an emotional environment where thoughtful action replaces rash reaction. This practice also teaches you humility because it acknowledges that immediate emotional impulses often mislead us. By choosing response over reaction, you rise above the turmoil and live intentionally. As you develop this skill, you will notice that many situations that once triggered strong reactions now meet your steady, calm response. This change doesn't come overnight, but with daily commitment, it becomes second nature. Alongside this, Stoicism encourages embracing discomfort as a path to growth. Instead of running from difficult feelings, you lean into them and learn from them. This is the next step in mastering your emotional responses. Discomfort is uncomfortable, that much is obvious. But the Stoics understood that discomfort, whether physical, emotional, or mental, is a teacher. When you resist or avoid it, you limit your growth. When you embrace it, you build resilience, strength, and wisdom. Think about moments when you felt anxiety, sadness, or frustration. These feelings are signals that something important is happening, a boundary is being tested, or a change is necessary. Instead of pushing these feelings away, what if you leaned into them with curiosity and courage? The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, taking cold showers, fasting, or embracing hardships deliberately to train their minds and bodies. You don't have to take cold showers unless you want to, but you can practice this mindset by facing emotional discomfort head-on. When you notice an unpleasant emotion, instead of distracting yourself or avoiding it, pause and acknowledge it. Ask, what can I learn from this feeling? How is this moment helping me grow? By doing so, you transform discomfort from something to escape into something to engage with. This practice builds emotional toughness. It helps you realize that feelings, even difficult ones, are temporary and manageable. You develop the confidence to sit with discomfort without being overwhelmed or running away. Imagine facing a stressful deadline or a difficult conversation, not with dread, but with the understanding that discomfort is a sign of progress, a chance to exercise your inner strength. This shift in attitude changes your entire experience. Over time, embracing discomfort lessens its power over you. You become more adaptable, less fearful of uncertainty, and more capable of handling life's ups and downs with grace. This isn't easy at first. It requires patience and courage, but it's one of the most effective ways to master your emotions. Discomfort becomes not your enemy, but your ally on the path to emotional freedom. When combined with the earlier practices, morning reflection, mindful observation, distinguishing control, reframing, visualization, gratitude and responding, rather than reacting, embracing discomfort, completes a powerful toolkit. You begin to live with emotional clarity and strength, prepared for whatever life brings. Next, we'll look at how ending your day with reflection and journaling solidifies your progress and deepens your emotional mastery. As your day comes to a close, there is immense power in taking a moment to reflect on your emotional experiences. The Stoics understood this well and made evening reflection and journaling a daily ritual. Imagine sitting quietly each night, reviewing how you handled the day's challenges, how you responded to your emotions, and what lessons you can carry forward. This practice transforms fleeting moments into lasting wisdom. Evening reflection is not about self-criticism or regret, but about honest, compassionate observation. It's an opportunity to celebrate your successes in emotional mastery and gently acknowledge where you fell short. When you put these moments into writing, the act of journaling makes your insights concrete and clear. Try setting aside 5 to 10 minutes each evening to answer questions like, what emotions did I experience today? How did I respond? Were my reactions aligned with my values? What can I improve tomorrow? This process is a dialogue with yourself, a chance to cultivate self-awareness and foster growth. The great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius filled volumes with his private thoughts, using journaling as a way to sharpen his mind and steady his emotions. You don't need to be a ruler or philosopher to benefit from this practice. It's accessible to anyone willing to engage honestly with their inner world. By reviewing your day, you train your mind to notice patterns. Maybe you see that certain triggers consistently upset you, or that you react impulsively in specific situations. Awareness of these patterns is the first step to change. Journaling also creates accountability. Writing down your intentions and progress reinforces your commitment to emotional mastery. It's like having a coach who gently guides you to stay on track. Over time, this habit cultivates humility and wisdom. You learn to accept that growth is a gradual process filled with setbacks and triumphs. You become patient with yourself and more understanding of your humanity. End your journaling with gratitude for the lessons learned and a renewed intention to apply your insights tomorrow. This completes a cycle of conscious emotional growth that deepens your Stoic practice. Now that you've reviewed your day and strengthened your self-awareness, it's time to look at the ultimate guiding principle of Stoicism: living according to virtue, not emotion. The goal of mastering your emotional responses is not to become emotionless or detached from life. Instead, it's about aligning your life with virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When you live by these principles, emotions become tools that support your higher purpose rather than distractions that lead you astray. Wisdom guides your understanding of what is truly good, bad, or indifferent. Courage empowers you to face fear and adversity with strength. Justice directs your interactions with fairness and kindness. Temperance teaches moderation and self-control. When you make virtue your anchor, your emotions find their proper place. You don't deny feelings but allow them to serve your rational, moral purpose. For example, anger can motivate you to stand against injustice. Fear can heighten your awareness and caution. Sadness can deepen your empathy. Living virtuously requires daily commitment and reflection. It means making choices that honor these values even when emotions push you in other directions. It's choosing integrity over convenience, patience over impulsivity, and kindness over resentment. By prioritizing virtue, you create a stable foundation for your emotional life. Your responses become consistent and rooted in character rather than fluctuating with every passing feeling. This practice is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. Each day offers opportunities to embody virtue in small acts and decisions. Over time, these accumulate into a life of meaning, peace, and emotional mastery. Remember, the Stoics did not seek to be free from emotions, but free from being controlled by them. Living according to virtue lets you harness the power of your feelings in service of your highest self. As you embrace this path, you become a source of calm and strength, not only for yourself, but for those around you. Your emotional mastery ripples outward, influencing your relationships, work, and community. With all these practices together, morning reflection, mindful observation, distinguishing control, reframing, visualization, gratitude, responding thoughtfully, embracing discomfort, evening journaling, and living virtuously, you hold a complete toolkit for mastering your emotions. The path of the Stoic is one of empowerment, wisdom, and peace. It invites you to meet life's challenges with courage and grace, knowing that true control lies within. Your journey toward emotional mastery starts now. Each day is a new opportunity to practice, learn, and grow. Are you ready to take the next step? Let's take a moment to bring all of this together. You've learned 10 powerful daily practices grounded in Stoic wisdom. Tools that, when practiced consistently, can transform your emotional life. From setting your intention each morning with reflection and premeditation, to observing your emotions mindfully throughout the day, to knowing clearly what is within your control and what isn't, you now have a framework to navigate life's ups and downs with calm and clarity. you've discovered how to reframe negative emotions through reason, to visualize challenges ahead so you're mentally prepared, and to cultivate gratitude that anchors you in the present. You've learned to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, embracing discomfort as a teacher rather than an enemy. Ending your day with reflection and journaling will deepen your awareness and keep you moving forward. And all of this is held together by the commitment to live according to virtue, making wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance your guiding stars. This journey is not about perfection. It's about progress, showing up for yourself every day, practicing these habits, and gently redirecting your mind when it wanders. Emotional mastery is a muscle that strengthens with use, and every small step counts. Remember, the Stoics themselves were far from flawless. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus all wrestled with their own struggles. What set them apart was their dedication to living intentionally, to choosing reason over impulse, and to seeking growth in every circumstance. If you find yourself overwhelmed or slipping back into old patterns, don't be discouraged. That is simply part of being human. Use these moments as signals to return to your practice, to breathe, and to reset. Your ability to master your emotions grows with patience and persistence. Now I invite you to reflect. Which of these 10 practices speaks most to you right now? Which will you commit to trying tomorrow morning? The power to change your emotional life is in your hands. Start small if you need to, maybe just a morning reflection or a moment of mindful observation during the day. Build from there. If this video has offered you value and inspired you on your journey, consider sharing your thoughts below. What challenges do you face with your emotions? What successes have you experienced? Your story might encourage others walking the same path. Remember, mastering your emotional responses is not only about personal peace, it's about becoming a beacon of calm and strength for those around you. When you live with emotional clarity and virtue, you uplift your relationships, your work, and your community. Thank you for taking this time to invest in yourself. Keep practicing, keep growing, and know that with each intentional step, you move closer to the mastery of your emotions and the freedom that comes with it. I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Until next time, stay steady, stay wise, and live with courage.